And action. Welcome back to I've Got Something to Tell You with Taylor and
Colleen.
Yay.
Episode 12.
Yeah. Dang.
Crazy.
We're doing a lot.
It's been a lot. Yeah.
And we have a bonus episode coming out.
Sure do.
Probably next week. Right.
Let's not commit to it.
Okay. You're right. Next week, hopefully.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about it or no? Or should we wait?
Let's wait.
Okay. I mean, we already posted like a teaser for it.
Yeah.
So.
And we talked a little bit about what we're doing in the last episode, but we're going to save all of the gruesome details for you guys.
For the actual episode.
Also, I've warned Taylor that I'm still not over it. So I would like to
just not think about it. And that's actually why like I changed my story today, because I was just like, we need to ease back into it a little bit because it was a little intense.
I appreciate
for
that.
both of us.
I cried 3 times, so.
I felt that though. I felt bad for you. And I know we said we weren't going to talk about it, but Colleen was like super brave and I'm really proud of her because I mean, I feel like committing to like the podcast, hearing scary stories is already a lot for you. And so that was like pretty big.
Thank you. I appreciate that because like I said, I cried 3 times and one of them Taylor wasn't even there for. I took one for the team.
Oh, yeah.
The dolls.
Oh, my God. Yeah. And if you're from Arizona, you would probably already know what bar that is.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I was in the room.
I saw that. I was a little jealous. I was like, damn it.
That's what I said. I was like, no, I don't do like.
We were busy moving our car. Then Colleen calls me and she's like, they opened the gate. And I was like, what? And I was like, please take pictures and videos.
Maybe we just tell that part of the story. But
we're like, let's not talk about it. Yeah. And then we're like, let's just talk about it.
But do you want to tell it? Because you know more about the restaurant and stuff.
Oh, Hanny's.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So it's a bar in downtown Phoenix, and it used to be a fire station, I think he said.
Department store.
Oh, department store. Oh, but it
burned down.
It burned down.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it was. You're like, you know the story more. I like fucked it up immediately.
Sorry.
No, I feel like
fire department store, like close.
No, it's not. You don't have to make me feel better. But so, like when you walk in, it looks like a regular like bar, like a pretty like nice bar, I think. Like it's
it was really cool.
And then you notice like in glass casing, they have like these weird ass mannequins. But then there's like a basement and it's like it literally looks like a basement. Like it's like the caged, like the metal caged,
yeah.
And then there's all these creepy dolls.
Yeah, so
like the Last Supper, right? Like they're lined up like the Last Supper.
Yeah, they're lined up like that. But so the department store that Hanny's was before burnt down. And so that's where I think you were getting the fire department stuff. Yeah. You were just like consolidating the story into
like,
one.
So it was a fire department and we just make up the entire history.
Who really knows what it was? But what is important to know is that they found these dolls in the basement and they were like, we don't know. Like they called
I didn't hear that part.
You were standing next to me.
I don't remember.
How did you win trivia every time?
I was only the first one. After that, I didn't remember anything.
Okay, you want me to tell you
Please?
the story? Okay.
I like how you're like, you tell it because you're really good. I like fucked it up. I don't remember anything.
Well, you knew it as we were walking up and the guy's like, shh.
I know. All I knew was the dolls.
Okay. Well,
but continue because it's interesting.
Okay, so this place that we've both been to, told the story. It was a department store. And who knows? Maybe I'm getting it completely wrong too. But it was a department store and it burnt down in this like crazy fire. And the fire, like even part of the firefighters.
Yeah.
I don't know. something went through my head, and it's not what firefighters are called. I was like, the fire people.
The people who stop the fires.
The people who stop the fire stoppers.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's disrespectful. They died. So
did they?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I heard the part about the part about the firefighters.
Yeah.
So I didn't know they died.
Some of them died, and then but they found these dolls in the basement of this department store.
Their souls went into the dolls.
You're just getting real wild with the story, the story that you know nothing about.
I just make up the history of handies.
You're like, actually, there are no dolls.
Get this. Okay, sorry, keep going.
No, it's okay. This isn't even our like story time.
I know.
So they find these dolls, and apparently the dolls weren't like burnt in the fire, and somebody buys the department store, and he wants to turn it into a restaurant. And he calls the ex-owner of the department store, and he's like, why would you guys have dolls? And he's like, we wouldn't have dolls. We didn't even have like a kids department, and we wouldn't have used these like for a display. So they have no idea where these dolls came from. And then they have that door frame.
Oh, yeah.
And they also like in the building of the building, blueprints of the building.
Oh.
They don't have that door frame like anywhere in the blueprints. So they don't know where that door frame came from, but it's still standing even after the fire.
It's a portal.
Yes, Taylor, where were
Is
you?
it?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know. By that point, we were like a few beers in, all right? And maybe like a green tea shot and a marshmallow with something.
Well, I was paying attention because we went down there, and they have like a room, and it's like all gated, but you can see like it's very small with the gates closed, and you can see like the dolls, and then you're supposed to like give an offering to the dolls. And my husband was like, fuck these dolls. And I was like, don't say that. And then I started crying because I was like, he's disrespected the dolls. So I was like, I need to give them more money to like.
You're like emptying your wallet into there. You're like, please.
Yeah. But then Taylor left because we were going to go do a recording. I was left alone, and one of the people that works at the restaurant, we were wearing the I've Got Something to Tell You t-shirts. And she's like, is that a podcast? And she's like, have you seen the dolls? And then she's like, do you want to go in the room with the dolls? And I was like, no, that's not my thing. But I did it for the
Did it for the pod.
I did it for the pod. Cried a lot.
Best.
Yeah.
You did a lot that night.
I really did.
So again, good job.
Thank you.
That was amazing.
You did a lot too.
Okay, I don't want to get into the recording.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I feel like you were doing a lot of questions during this our session, and I wasn't.
Well, it was also fucking with you, so yeah. Fair.
Yeah.
I left claw marks in Kyle's arm because I was so scared.
I felt like I was so far away from everyone, even though like we were sitting so close together.
Oh.
But I felt like my back was exposed, and I didn't like that. Like, I felt like I kept turning this way because I just felt like, I don't know. I just felt like someone was behind me.
You could have come sat by me.
I know. I didn't know if I'd mess up the mics though. Like, because you know how they're not supposed to be close together. But then towards the end, I was like, I'm coming over there. So I was just like, forget it. Like, this
safety
is scary.
first.
Yeah.
Safety first, then teamwork.
I know. But anyway, you guys will hear that in your bonus episode. So stay tuned. It was an experience.
Yeah,
for
the
sure.
thing we said we weren't going to talk about, we just spent the whole
We
intro.
basically just summarized that like the last, like, I don't even know how long that was.
Well, just get ready for it. I won't listen to it.
So anyway, for my story today, I was going to do a haunting, but I switched it last minute. And I was going to say that you could choose, but I already knew you were going to choose the other one. So
well, maybe I'll surprise you.
Well, it's a haunting or aliens.
Aliens.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah. And I actually wanted to I think I could pull it up on my iPad because there was something earlier this week.
I also want to say that Kyle's been like, thank you for saying I was brave, but Kyle's been using that against me a lot of like, I won't watch Stranger Things because it scares me. And the other night we watched Stranger Things and he's like, because you're brave now. Like,
I mean, do you think it helped you a little
No.
bit? No. You're
No.
still like, fuck
mhm,
no.
did it one time. I'm like, wasn't even on my bucket list. But I'm good.
You're good. Never doing it again.
Yeah.
Stranger Things does get scary. Like the last season, I was like a little surprised. Like it's like a horror movie type to me.
hmm I like Eddie.
Which one's Eddie again?
He's in the latest season. I only watched highlights of him.
Is he the one that's like the bad kid or whatever?
I don't know. I don't know what the context of his character is. He plays the guitar at one point.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like everyone loved him in
Yeah.
that. But
Oh.
he was awesome.
Calling me basic.
He was definitely a fan favorite. So if you're basic, I'm basic too.
Okay.
So this was regarding aliens, and that's why I like wanted to like kind of incorporate it today. And this like happened earlier this week, but the CIA released another like classified document. Did you
So-
see it already?
Do you have something to tell me?
Oh, wait, hang on. Yes, I do. Whoa, I look scary.
I know. I was like, it's very
Woo.
aggressive, especially with the ring light.
Yeah. Well, this isn't my story, but I'll just go through it really quick. So the CIA released a classified or declassified file regarding 23 Soviet soldiers, and they were allegedly turned to stone by a UFO. I'll just read the summary, but
Okay.
it's crazy. And maybe we could post it on Instagram or something
Okay.
too for people to read, but
Mhm.
it claims a saucer was shot down during a Soviet military drill sometime between 1989 and 1990, only for 5 short humanoids to merge into one, and unleash like a deadly flash of light. Like they turned into a pillar and then this beam of light and it like exploded.
What?
And then it like released like this, like something from it, and it turned the soldiers to stone except for 2 of them. And in the actual document, it says like, hold on.
Why not the two of the what?
They
What?
were hiding like further away in the
Oh, okay.
shade. So it like missed them, but it like literally changed the structure of their like living organisms into like limestone or something crazy.
Medusa.
I know. But yeah, so I was like, wow.
That's crazy. Why did when that a lot of questions. So it just got released, but when did it happen?
It happened between 1989 and 1990. So a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And apparently they took the stone soldiers into like some kind of government thing.
Crazy.
I know, but I was like, stone? But
I just thought about Night at the Museum.
do they turn into stone?
No, the things come to life. So what if like the soldiers
That would be so scary. Oh yeah, they say the aliens possess such weapons and technology that go beyond all our assumptions. They can stand up for themselves if attacked. Which is like, I don't know. In the report, they sound freaked out.
Yeah.
And they also say they have large heads and large black eyes. Anyway.
Basic.
Okay. Did you say basic?
Yeah.
I know, right? Figured. Standard alien.
Mhm.
Hold on a second. I've got something to tell you. Creepy. So on the morning of Friday, September 16th, 1994, during a mid-morning break, approximately 62 students between the ages of 6 and 12 were playing outside at the Aerial School in Rua, Zimbabwe. Have you heard this story? It's okay if you have.
I think every single time I've heard the story, so like, I'm gonna stop saying I know this one.
You probably have.
Okay.
I think it's a pretty well-known one.
Okay.
So yeah, the kids were on recess. The teachers were inside attending a staff meeting. At about 10:15 in the morning, a group of children began pointing toward the far edge of the schoolyard, where a small grove of brush and trees separated the grounds from open countryside. One of the students said you could see a bright light floating just above the grass. You'd see it one moment and then not the next moment. It was almost like your eyes were playing tricks on you. Several students described seeing one or more silver disc-shaped objects descend from the sky and land, or hover just beyond the playground fence. Shortly afterward, they reported seeing figures emerge from or near the craft. Small beings dressed in black with disproportionately large head and eyes, like we just said. Basic. One child stated, I saw something silver and then a person in black came out. I saw the eyes. It was like he was looking at me all the time. It scared me. Another student added, they were just staring, not moving. It felt like they were trying to say something inside my head.
Ew.
I know.
Ew, you talked about that with the Skinwalkers member, or was it the Skinwalkers where they were like, do you want to come with us? And the guy's like, nope.
Oh, yeah, Skinwalker Ranch, the aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he was like, no, I'm good. And they're like, okay. So the beings were described almost uniformly, around 3 to 4 feet tall with slender bodies, elongated heads, large black almond-shaped eyes, and no visible nose or mouth movement. Many of the children described feeling paralyzed or mesmerized during the encounter. They said once they made an eye connection, everything else around them disappeared, and they almost felt as if they were in a trance. They said that they didn't touch them physically, but with the stare, it felt as if they touched every ounce of their body.
Ugh, that gave me spine tingles.
I know,
yeah.
It grossed me out. Ugh. And that's when they began feeling the messages telepathically. One student, sounding terrified, said the worst part was the noise that she could feel in her ear, and she said it sounded like a flute.
Oh, okay.
And she was so little, like their interviews, like they're elementary kids, and like they're like terrified.
Yeah,
And
I'm
it's
just glad
really
it doesn't
sad.
click.
Ugh. If it clicked, I'm out. I can't. No. Which aliens click? Is that like
I don't know. Whatever the ones in signs are.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that. Ew.
Yeah. Flute? I'll take a flute.
I'll take the flute, I guess, over the click.
But not demeaning how scared she was. I'm just saying, if I
Yeah.
could choose clicks over flute, I'm choosing flute.
And I feel like if it was the flute alone, not physically seeing them, hearing like the clicking and not seeing them, leaving it to the imagination, worse.
Yeah.
So, multiple children claim to have received nonverbal communication or telepathic messages from the beings. The content of these messages seemed to revolve around environmental destruction and humanity's future. The interviewer in Encounters asked one of the students, so this is from the docuseries Encounters.
Okay.
So when I say Encounters, like interviewer, that's what I mean.
Gotcha.
Should have said that in the beginning. So one of the interviewers asked one of the students, how did the messages get to you? She responds by saying, my conscience, I think. It came through my head. And just a reminder, these kids are in elementary school. So like that kind of like communication is pretty like, just like knowing it's coming from your conscience.
Yeah, that's crazy.
She describes it as never having felt that kind of connection before. She said, I was told that we're doing harm to the earth. We mustn't be so techie. We mustn't pollute. That's what I got from it.
We mustn't be so techie, but the aliens are coming with like high-tech things.
They're like, listen, our tech and your tech,
do what I
not
say,
comparable.
not what I do.
Only we are allowed to have the tech.
It feels like a trick.
Go live like cavemen.
Yeah. Well, it feels like a trick because they're going to come back with like years
and
later.
fuck us up.
Yeah, because they're like, oh yeah, no tech.
Oh,
like,
they're like, you should have advanced.
Yeah.
I don't know why you did.
I don't know
Just
why
like
you guys
gaslight them. So So anyway, the coherence, especially coming from children of varying backgrounds, caught the attention of investigators, including Dr. John Mack. Dr. Mack, and I don't know how to say this. Is it Pulitzer?
Pulitzer.
Okay.
I know that from Newsies.
Okay, I'm glad you know that. A Pulitzer Prize-winning psychiatrist from Harvard University. In the early 1900s, Dr. Mack began interviewing people who claimed to have been abducted by aliens. Individuals from all walks of life who have had vivid, often traumatic memories of being taken aboard spacecraft and experimented on. Over time, he interviewed over 200 experiencers, many who had never spoken about their experiences before. They described consistent themes like bright lights in the sky, beings with large heads and black eyes, feelings of paralysis or floating, telepathic communication, messages about environmental destruction, and trauma that felt real even if there was no like physical evidence.
Oh.
So very similar experiences.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I don't know if these beings are from another planet, but I know these experiences are real to the people who have them. He didn't claim to prove that aliens existed. Instead, he validated the emotional and psychological reality of these experiences and challenged psychiatry's limits when it came to non-ordinary states of consciousness, which I loved.
Yeah.
Because like the way he like spoke about all of the people that he helped, he had like a lot of passion for it and compassion.
Yeah.
And during that time, like think about it, like the 90s, like I mean now like they're releasing classified documents left and right.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, if you said you believed in UFOs, they're like, okay, crazy.
Yeah.
Like nobody believed you.
Well, and especially for him to be like compassionate, like regardless of if he believed what their experience was, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
he was compassionate to the feelings that they had.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and he like validated them and he listened to them.
I love that.
Me too. So he traveled to Zimbabwe to interview the children. His findings were groundbreaking in that he found no evidence of group delusion, fantasy proneness, or pathology. The children spoke individually and consistently with clear emotional reactions and detailed matching descriptions of the entities and craft. And if you watch this episode, you can actually watch the interviews with all the different kids.
With the kids?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Was that really hard to watch?
No, it's not hard to watch. It's like, I feel bad how scared they are.
Yeah.
But it's really sweet watching him like talk to them.
Oh.
Yeah. So Dr. Mack later stated, these are children of various ages with no apparent motive to fabricate such a story. They are clearly not hallucinating. What they described was not dreamlike, it was experiential. When asked if they could have made it up, one child responded in a 1994 interview, "We're not making it up. I swear I saw it. Why would we all lie about the same thing?"
Yeah.
I'm like, that's right, kid.
Yeah. You
like,
tell 'em.
why? So also, I didn't write this in here, but so the episode, they kind of go back and forth to like the kids' interviews and then like decades later when they're adults and they still remember everything. And there's one kid and he seems like almost a little resentful. He's the one out of 60 that didn't see it. And he says he made it up and everyone fell for it. And he's like, sorry, I'm calling you out on your bullshit. Like he says that in his interview. Like he's really like mad about it. It's just like, okay.
I feel like he's just mad that he got left out.
That's kind of what I thought too. I'm
Yeah.
like, I bet you he didn't see it. Like maybe he was in the bathroom or something. And everyone's like, ah, did you see that? And he's like, what? So that's my theory.
I agree.
Okay. Where am I?
Also, if everybody's going along with the story, snitches get stitches, bro. Like,
exactly. Like,
come
you're
on.
the one person,
Yeah.
dude. Hey. One student, notably the only one who didn't witness the beings. I guess he's not the only one because this isn't the same one I'm talking about.
Oh.
He said, I didn't see them, but everyone else did, and I believed them. They were shaken. You could feel it. So he was...
Also in the bathroom.
I guess he must have been in the bathroom,
Mhm.
but he was a believer. He believed them. So a lot of the kids stated that they felt safe and seen with Dr. Mack when he was interviewing them. They explained that the parents and adults around them, like the teachers, made them feel crazy. He asked the kids if they still feel scared over the experience, and they respond by saying yes, they still get scared at night. One of them says, I get scared that the man is still looking at me and that he's going to kill me.
What?
Which was so sad. And because they look scared.
Yeah.
He asks if she tells her mom that she's afraid, and she responds with, no, I don't think she would believe me. And that was it made me so sad. He asks her what would convince you that you're safe and that you don't need to be worried. And she responds by saying, I don't know. He's just always in my mind, which is terrifying.
That's so creepy.
I know. And I feel like anything that would make a kid feel creeped out and not safe like that isn't a good thing. Like, that was definitely an evil alien, and don't love that. So he then gives all the kids paper and pencils to draw what they saw individually, and they draw the same thing. They all draw them with long black hair, which wasn't in the original description, but it was on all of their pictures when they drew it.
That.
I hate it too. Because, like, isn't, like, the alien movies or Alien Predator or whatever, they have, like, the long black hair, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just thought of The Ring.
Oh, ew. Don't go there.
Okay, sorry.
I hate that movie. But they also say the pupils are white. Like, that sounds like The Ring.
I hate that. Yeah.
I hate it too. So no wonder she was afraid.
Yeah. Oh, it chills again. Sorry.
No, you're good. It's creepy. Later on, one of the teachers that lives on campus has an experience. Or she had the experience before Dr. Mack got there, but she never said anything. It was nighttime in her bedroom. She was taken on a craft on a narrow bed, she says. And she says, I found that funny because I'm quite fat. And she thought she was going to fall off. She said, these little people are around me and they said, don't look up. She says, knowing herself, of course, she looks up.
Yeah.
And they insert something in her belly button.
Ew.
And I hate belly buttons. I could not.
Ew, what did they insert?
She says she thought like a microchip or something, but she still never knew.
Ew.
And she said then there was a flash and they left. She said that she dealt with it on her own and didn't tell anyone about it, but ended up later having to take Prozac from all the anxiety she had from like holding it in. She even said that she felt like she didn't want to be around anymore and like about ending her life too, which I was just like, ugh. But I mean, imagine carrying that burden again at that time. It's like, who's going to listen to you?
Yeah.
Like I would have listened. She said that the aliens came back 2 more times asking her if she wanted to come with them because she's unhappy. She declined both times, but she said it was nice of them to ask. So Dr. John Mack put his career on the line to help people due to public scrutiny. Harvard accused him of malpractice, and his colleagues saying that he's lost it for helping these people, claiming they've had traumatic alien experiences. They stated that the people had some kind of psychosis and needed to be on medication, and he was committing malpractice by not putting them on medication, which is insane.
That's wow.
Yeah. Harvard launched an investigation trying to prove that his methods were unethical because of this, but ended up dropping it. Tons of clients came forward saying that if it weren't for him, they would have ended their lives.
Wow.
Which I loved.
Yeah.
Because they were like, no. During this day and age, it's not much like today. You were, I already said this, but yeah, you were looked at crazy if you said that you believed in UFOs.
Well, look at us now. We have a
I would have been an insane person back then. Decades later, several of the original witnesses, now adults, continue to recount the event with the same emotional clarity. One adult witness says, "I tried not to think about it. I was afraid people would think I was crazy, but it's never left me." Another added, "That day changed the way I saw the world. It made me feel like we're not alone, and maybe we never were." As they grew up, they explained that the aftermath was a lot worse. They lost a lot of friends, didn't want to open up to new people. One of the former students even said that his pastor got like red in the face because he was like yelling at him and confronting him about aliens not being real, which
Oh
is
my
a pastor,
gosh.
like crazy.
Why do you care so much?
I know, and a church is supposed to be a safe place for some
Yeah.
people. So a lot of them explain like a lot of feelings of like isolation and humiliation and stuff, which is
Wow.
really sad.
That's really sad.
Yeah, because I mean, if someone like still doesn't believe them, like look how much it impacted their life.
Again, the doctor going in, like, regardless if he believed them. I mean, it sounded like he believed them, but
he did.
But just saying, like, even if you don't, it doesn't matter. Somebody's obviously like traumatized and scared. Like, you just help them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and I think that's what makes a good like psychiatrist,
Mhm.
therapist, whatever, is like you don't have to believe them. You're there to validate their feelings, and they're
Exactly.
feeling that, so it's real. Period. Um. So, um, that continues to be like one of the strongest cases for UFOs because of the dozens of eyewitnesses that it actually has, and like the emotional like clarity that they bring
Yeah.
into adulthood, like still remembering it and being able to be interviewed. So people still try to dismiss it as mass hysteria, childhood fantasy, or misidentified military activity, which obviously it's not.
Yeah.
Like, come on. But yeah, so that was my story.
That was so
good. Thanks. I know. And so I don't know. You should watch that episode. I'll send it to you because it's only an hour long. And I feel like you just have to hear how he speaks
Yeah.
to them because I was just like,
I feel like I could watch that.
yeah, it's not scary
Yeah.
at all. But also, so the show's called Encounters. And I got it mixed up with Unsolved Mysteries because remember when I was doing Skinwalker Ranch and I was like looking, I said there was an episode where someone was interviewed about seeing a UFO and they got cancer or something. It was one of those episodes.
Okay.
So now I want to go back and rewatch it and I will follow up.
Because I was just listening to, when I was driving over here, I was listening to a podcast and they mentioned Unsolved Mysteries. And it wasn't, this isn't my story, but like human combustion.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, ooh, that would be a good one.
You should cover that one.
Because I remember you bringing up Unsolved Mysteries and I always remembered it as being like crimes. So then when they brought it up, I was like, oh, maybe I am remembering this differently.
They have a mix.
Yeah.
I feel like most of it is crimes, but I think every season they throw in like a paranormal and an alien experience.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Love that.
Whoops. But yeah, do you want to take a break and then get into your story?
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right. We are back from our break. And Taylor, I've got something to tell you.
Yay.
Okay. So.
What is it? The flashlight.
I'm afraid to touch anything over here. I just knocked everything over a second ago. Well, so I remember when we were talking, and I think I've said this before, but a while ago, and you were like, yeah, I really like unsolved ones. So I've been trying to find unsolved ones that I like that meet my needs as well as your needs.
Well, thank you.
So I think I finally found one.
I'm excited.
So I am going to be covering Cabin 28, the Keddie Murders.
Cabin
28.
Ooh.
The Keddie Murders.
Okay, I'm excited.
Cool. I am too.
Wait, is it like a cabin?
It's a cabin and it's unsolved.
That is creepy.
Yeah. I feel like you would like it because I feel like cabin in the woods kind of vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was always, yeah.
You
Never
hate
mind.
camping, but whatever.
Well, so when I was, sorry,
No, go.
really quick.
Yes.
When I was younger, like in elementary school, we visited our family in Chicago. And one of my older cousins, she was like only a couple of years older, but she was obsessed with horror movies. And she had me watching Friday the 13th, and they're in a cabin. And after that, I was terrified of the cabins growing up. And we'd always go to Christopher Creek, which is like up north here in Arizona. And it's like all these little cabins in the woods. I would always just think like, there's a murderer out there.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's the vibe, right? But I was going to say my sister worked at a camp for like a summer camp. And I realized I've never told you this story.
Yeah.
They had a creeper at their summer camp.
What?
Yeah. So like it was it was like quintessential summer camp that you think about. Like, because I went to that summer camp too.
Oh.
Like cabins, like the whole shebang of, counselors and all of that thing.
Yeah.
And they had some guy that would like sneak on to the campgrounds and like he would like look in people's cabins and stuff like that. Yeah.
Gross. See, that's why.
So don't fuck with cabins.
You know what? Okay. And I know last episode we talked about going to the cabins and the superstitions. I don't know.
I just booked a cabin with my family.
You did?
Yeah.
Have fun.
Maybe I didn't even put that together when I was like trying.
You're like, why does cabin sound so familiar?
Yeah, maybe because I just put a deposit down. Anyway, so cabin. Well, shit. What if we're staying what if it's cabin 28?
Oh my God. If it is, you gotta take a picture.
Okay, I will. I'll go find whatever cabin 28 is. This one's in California and we're in Arizona, so it's like
okay.
I'll just go find cabin 28 in Arizona.
Yeah. Wait, does this take place in Arizona?
No.
Okay. Thank God. If it's unsolved, I hope it doesn't.
It is in California, though.
Ooh. Okay,
so Cabin 28, the Keddie Murders. Cue the fire crackles. So we're going to start with the family at the center of the story, which is the Sharps. The year is 1980, and Sue Sharp is a 36-year-old single mom. She had been through a lot. She was for years in an abusive marriage. And so in 1980, she decides to finally leave her abusive husband and take her kids with her. She has 5 kids: John, who is 15, Sheila, who is 14, Tina, who is 12, Rick, who is 10, and Greg, who is 5. So she packs up the whole group and she moves them to Keddie, California.
Okay.
Yeah. Keddie is this tiny, isolated town tucked into the Sierra Nevada mountains, which is what we love. Small town.
Small town murders.
Shit goes down. There's only like 66 people in the whole town.
Dang.
Yeah, it's tiny.
That's a whole other level of small town.
Yeah.
I feel like all of them are like maybe a couple hundred.
Yeah. No, it's very small.
Dang.
And it's certainly not like glamorous. It's more of like a place where people like stop through versus actually live, which is why there's so little amount of people that live there. But so the Sharp family, they want to start over, but they also, like, she's a single mom, so she's also trying to find something that she can afford, and she can afford Keddie. So they move into Cabin 28 on a camping ground in Keddie, and it's just like they're viewing it as a temporary home. Again, they're looking for things that they can afford. So they just move into this cabin. And life wasn't easy for the Sharp family. Sue worked hard to make ends meet, and the family lived in semi-poverty. They were really just living to live. Yeah, they're living to live. They're not like spending outside of their means or anything like that. But they seemed like a really good family. And Sue is really described as like she loved her kids. Like her kids were her whole life, and They say that she, like, everybody that knew her were just like that. Like, the woman worked her ass off, but she did it for her kids.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah. But so she's just doing her best to build a safe life for her family. So it's not glamorous, but she's doing her best.
yeah.
And they also, all of the kids had dreams for the future. You know, the kids are all described as like really friendly. They're super friendly with like the different kids on the campgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
They all are intelligent and ambitious. But jump to April 1981 and everything.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So it's Saturday night, April 11th, 1981, which I just looked at the date and it's not the 11th. But that would have been weird.
Honestly, didn't even notice.
Well, April 11th, 1981, the Sharp family is settling in for what seems to be like an ordinary night in cabin 28. Sheila, the second oldest daughter, she decides to go sleep over at a friend's cabin nearby, so she's not home. But back at cabin 28, Sue is with her two youngest boys, Rick and Greg, and they're with their friend Justin Smart, and he's one of their friends from the campground, so he's staying overnight. Sounds like fun. And John, the oldest, is out with his best friend, Dana Wingate, who is 17. It's reported that John and Dana return to the cabin around midnight. So somebody sees them go back to the cabin around that time. The next morning, April 12th, Sheila walks back to cabin 28 after spending the night at her friend's house. It's a quick walk back to her cabin, and it's a super quiet morning. She says nothing unusual.
Mm-hmm.
But when she walks into the cabin, the first thing she notices is how quiet it was. It's eerie. She feels like it felt like heavy, that everybody should be awake by now.
Mm-hmm.
She imagined her mom would be like making breakfast, the boys would be running around, like something
big
like
family.
Yeah. But it's dark in the cabin, and she starts saying that her eyes are adjusting to the light, and that's when she sees everything. Her mother, Sue, is lying on the floor near the couch. Her brother, John, is sprawled by the front door, and next to him is his best friend, Dana.
Oh, my God.
The three bodies are bound with electrical cords. Their wrists and ankles are tied tightly. Their mouths are gagged with strips of medical tape, and blood is everywhere.
Oh, my God.
It is splattered on the walls. It's pooling on the floor. Like, it was almost like something, like if you had like your sink overflow.
Like drained them.
Like, it was everywhere. It was even across the ceiling.
What the heck?
So the room looked like it's been torn apart with absolute rage. Furniture is overturned. The table near the couch is broken. Sheila describes that she can smell blood and just metal filling the room. Which...
I know.
So Sheila panics. She is rushing to see if she can find the rest of her family. So she goes to check the bathrooms. Not your first choice. Bedrooms. Bedrooms. So she wants to check the bedrooms, and both of her younger brothers, Rick and Greg, are still in bed and they're sleeping. And their friend, Justin, who had stayed the night, is also asleep in the bedroom. So, like, they seem completely unbothered by whatever just happened.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, it sounded like there was, like, definitely a fight.
For sure.
Yeah.
So then she's looking for her sister, Tina, and she can't find Tina anywhere. And so she runs out of the cabin yelling for Tina and, like, yelling for help. That Tina's, like, she can't find Tina. Tina was supposed to be there. Tina's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And so investigators arrive at cabin 28. They quickly realize this isn't just a murder scene. It's something far more disturbing. They were shocked by the violence. Keep in mind, this is like a small town, and we've talked about small town cops. Like, it's not their fault, but like they're just not equipped
Because, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this was a brutal murder.
Yeah. And obviously that's not happening all the time
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Get that.
So, sorry, I took a drink of water. Sue, the mother, like I said, is found near the sofa. Her hands and ankles were bound with the electrical cords. She's gagged with a strip of medical tape and a bandana. She has been stabbed multiple times in the chest and the neck. Her head shows signs of blunt force trauma, which they believe was used by a claw hammer. Yeah.
And don't they say too when like, I mean, I know you actually just said this, but like the rage filled like attack, because it's just like she was already dead, obviously, at some point, but the multiple stab wounds in the head trauma.
Something personal.
Mm-hmm.
She's also partially covered with, and this is exactly what you were saying, she's partially covered with a blanket as if somebody had like tried to cover her, which is another thing that they say if it's something personal, like if they knew her, they're trying to like, what's the right word? Like protect her in some way. Like give her some decency.
Okay. I was thinking like maybe they were ashamed of what they did or something afterwards. Should.
Yeah. They say a lot of the times when it's like attacks on the face or they try and like cover up the attack, it's because they knew the person. So it's like
interesting.
Yeah. John, her 15-year-old son, he is sprawled near the front door. He too has been beaten and stabbed repeatedly. Dana, John's 17-year-old friend, is lying nearby. His injuries are gruesome. He has been strangled with a cord and beaten so severely that his skull was fractured.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The weapons, as I mentioned a little bit before in the attack, was the claw hammer. Or they find these weapons sitting on the table next to the door, like the front door. Like
what?
Basically like
here's the evidence.
And it's the claw hammer, a bent steak knife, which if it's a bent steak knife, that means they're hitting so hard that it bent the knife. And they're probably hitting bones. Oh
my God.
Yeah. So that's just like the amount of violence that was used in this.
Yeah.
And then they also find a butcher knife.
Ugh.
Yeah. That's like the big square.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm like over here all
You're like,
it's the
big one. Those freak me out.
Devil's in the details.
Yeah.
So they are all okay, so then again, like I said, the steak knife is so badly damaged that investigators believe it broke during the attack and it was bent during the attack. Again, the blood is everywhere, splattered on the walls, pooled on the floor, and even streaked across the ceiling. Whoever committed these murders didn't just kill, they unleashed an unspeakable fury. That's my dog's name.
Fury.
She is unspeakable.
And you will unleash her when needed.
Yeah. This is where things are really weird, is there's so much blood, but there are no footsteps from the attackers noted in the blood coming like in the house or leaving the house. Because you would imagine like there would be some like a handprint or a footprint or something, and there's nothing.
Interesting.
Yeah. And there's no forced entry. Contemplate on that.
Yeah.
So you're also probably wondering, where's Tina? So investigators searched the area around Cabin 28 for weeks looking for Tina and found absolutely nothing. And keep in mind, this was a brutal murder. So they're also in a town of 66 people. Yeah. So whoever committed this is probably covered in blood and nobody saw anything. And I would imagine in a town of 66 people, you probably have quite a few gossips that like if they saw something, they would probably be talking about it.
Yeah.
and nobody's saying anything.
Hmm.
So the case goes quiet. Tina's just missing. They have no leads. Like, they just ignore it, I guess. So then 3 years later, on April 28th, exactly 3 years after the murders, a call came in to the Butte County Sheriff's Office, and the anonymous caller said he'd found a skull near Feather Falls, which is about 50 miles from Keddie. And he says, I think it's Tina Sharp's skull.
How would he know?
How would he know?
Yeah. Sorry, there's a gnat.
It's okay.
Unless
he was the murderer.
Yeah.
But
3 years later,
3 years
though.
to the day.
It's crazy.
It's insane. Investigators went to the location and they found part of the skull and jawbone along with other bones scattered nearby. Dental records confirmed it was Tina, and the rest of her body has never been found. They also never looked into the caller or identified him.
Do you think it was the ex-husband?
I go into.
Sorry.
No,
I feel
it's
like
okay.
it just like popped in my
No,
head
yeah.
right now. Because at first I was blaming the people upstairs.
Wait, the people upstairs?
The people upstairs sleeping. Like, how are you sleeping through that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it was 2-story. I think it's a 1-story cabin, by the way. So even
okay. I don't
more
know why I
sketch
assumed
that
it
they
was-
didn't hear anything.
Yeah. I was like, unless he drugged them. Somebody drugged them.
Yeah, I don't know.
All the theories.
It's still unsolved. Taylor.
It could have been.
Okay, well, you jumped the gun, but we're going to go into theories. Theories and suspects. So, first of the suspects is Martin Smart, and he is the main suspect in this.
Mm-hmm.
So Justin Smart was the boy that was staying over, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And so Martin Smart, I wrote that. Martin Spart. Spart? Why can't I say this word?
You said it so fast.
Martin Smart.
Martin Shart.
Martin Shart.
Anyway,
Oh my God.
sorry.
Word fumble of the episode.
It's nighttime.
Yeah. Martin Smart, the stepfather of Justin Smart.
Mm-hmm. The friend, right?
The friend.
Okay.
The young bi. Oh my God. Night recordings are golly.
The young bi.
Bye.
Okay.
Get it together. I can't look at you anymore. Okay, Justin. We're just not going to say their last name anymore.
The friend. Just call him
Friend
that.
Okay.
All over myself. Okay. I'm seriously done. Just like really Justin. Wait, is it Justin?
Justin Shirt.
Justin. The young
It's
bi.
not even that funny.
No, but the young bi.
The young bi.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm over it.
Are you?
I am.
Okay. Cool. We got a lot more names I gotta get through this.
You got this.
I took one out because I was trying to say it, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to get through it, so I just deleted it from the story.
No more.
You
Oh my
good?
God. My cheeks hurt.
I know. All right. Main suspect, Martin, dad of Justin. Stepdad of
Got
Justin.
it.
Cool. Said it 27 times now. So Martin did not like Sue because he believed that Sue had been interfering in his marriage and that she was telling his wife, Marilyn, Cool, I did that one good.
Yeah, good job.
Thanks. So Martin and Marilyn, that Sue was telling Marilyn to leave Martin, that Sue didn't think that Martin was a good guy and that she was like interfering with.
Oh, okay.
So he was very vocal about not liking Sue because he believed that that's what was going on. So they believe that that could have given motive to kill her, and that the boys were just happened to come in at the same time. Yeah. Wrong time, wrong place kind of thing. On the night of the murders, Martin and his friend Bo, we're just going to call him Bo. So Bo has a criminal past, and Martin and Bo are seen drinking at a local bar. They both claim to have just gone straight home afterwards, but their alibi has always seemed kind of shaky. Like it almost seems like Martin coerced Marilyn to say that he came straight home, even though like sometimes their timelines didn't always add up.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
And that for days after the murder, Martin and Bo were both seen acting like kind of strange around town. So people just kind of became very suspicious of him. What even becomes more suspicious, get it out, today,
Don't
Junior.
Be suspicious.
That was a glitch in the Matrix.
She was
broke
through
for a
Matrix. She malfunctioned. We do that sometimes.
Yeah. Many times. So Martin actually confesses that so there's a confession that he allegedly made to a counselor shortly after the murders. According to this counselor, Martin admitted that he killed Sue and Tina. But for reasons that remain unclear, this confession wasn't properly investigated. And whether it's like a lack of evidence or incompetence, or I think something's getting covered up.
Yeah. But that's what it sounds like.
The case against Martin never gets pursued.
What?
Yeah. And then there's the letter. So Marilyn. They both have M names. I would really like people to make their names more easy for me to
like
tell
if you're
story.
Gonna get married, can you make it a little different, please?
Louise, people. Okay. Years later, there's a letter. And this comes from Marilyn, Martin's wife. And she came forward with a handwritten letter she claimed Martin had written to her. In it, he says, "I've paid the price of your love, and now that I've bought it with 4 lives, you tell me we are enough." Or, no, we are through. Let's reread that.
Yeah.
"I've paid the price of your love, and now that I've bought it with 4 lives, you tell me we are through." The letter is chilling, to say the least, and it feels like it's just a direct, like 4 lives. That's how many people died.
Yeah. I don't know. Unless he's like trying to. But then it's like, why would you admit to that? Like,
yeah, he keeps trying to say I did it, and and everybody's like, Martin.
They're like, shut up, Martin.
Shut up, Martin.
Like, is this guy still talking?
Stop trying to admit to murder. Stop trying to solve the case.
He's like holding a sign. He's like,
I did it.
They just put the blinds down.
He's like, yeah. Ignore him.
So anyway,
town kook over there.
Crazy though.
Yeah, so the confession again never gets acted upon. It's like, what's this guy got to do?
Yeah. Kill more people?
So Martin's friend Bo is another part of the case because of Bo's criminal history. He was coworkers with organized crime. He had a history of organized crime and like connections to like mafia type people.
Oh, damn.
And so also history of extreme violence. And he had only been in Keddie for a very short time, and he was staying with Martin and Marilyn in their cabin. So some believe that Bo, with his criminal background, may have been the one to actually carry out the murders, while it was Martin's idea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And
especially if he's like, that's like his thing.
yeah. And then Bo left town really fast after the murders. He just like disappeared. So a lot of people think that that's a guilty man fleeing the scene.
Yeah.
But just like Martin's confession, nobody ever looks into it.
Why would they at this point?
Yeah.
They're like, who did it?
Martin's over here like big red flag.
That is crazy.
Yeah, he's just walking around with a bloody knife. And they're like, who?
He just has bloody clothes going to the laundromat.
Yikes. Okay, so also Tina. So, also people think that Tina was possibly the target. At just 12 years old, Tina was vulnerable, and some theories believe that killers may have abducted her for reasons that I'm sure you can put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
And so the fact that her remains weren't discovered until 3 years later, and that the anonymous caller who reported her skull seemed to know exactly who it was, has led to speculation about her connection to the killers. They clearly knew her. And in my opinion, they clearly knew her. Sorry, I'm saying that as if it's fact. I'm saying that this is my theory. It sounds like
it, yeah.
I also think that she was possibly alive and being held for those 3 years, but nothing has been released, and no further suspects were investigated. I don't know what the Sharp family did, but somebody's covering something up.
For sure. Yeah.
So just like I'm criticizing it now, the investigation into the Keddie murders has been criticized for decades. From the start, there were glaring errors and missed opportunities, which we talk about. They're small town police. Like, I don't think it's their fault. I just don't think like they're properly equipped to handle
for
something.
That kind of, yeah, but it's almost like there should be like some closer town you can call as backup to look into it. Like, you're in California. And
yeah, I take it back. They also had several confessions and they still didn't.
That's what I'm saying. It's like 4 murders and there's literally confessions and you're like, what do I do with the evidence? Yeah. Let's just...
What do I do with these handcuffs over here?
How do these work? Do we even have a jail cell?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so obviously missed opportunity. Evidence wasn't properly secured. Like, leads weren't followed up on. Obviously, they had phone calls, and we're going to say it a million times. Confessions, and they just didn't do anything with them.
Yeah.
And the key suspects, like Martin and Bo, were allowed to just walk away without any questioning. But some people believe it wasn't incompetence, that it was actually intentional. There is speculation that the local law enforcement may have been involved in the cover-up, perhaps to protect someone connected to the case, especially with Bo having the connections that he had, that potentially his connections put some money in hands or threats.
Yeah. I just thought of that too, because I mean, it's not the first time that like it's ever been heard that like a mafia would be able to like persuade the police to cover something up.
Yeah. So but there are endless theories about the murders. Every theory comes back to the same unsettling truth, though. Someone somewhere knows exactly what happened in Cabin 28. And we'll just keep checking the news. Set your Google alerts because we want to know what happened.
Wait, what year did this happen in again?
1981.
Jeez.
And you like those BuzzFeed Unsolved? They do one on this.
Oh, they do?
And they go to the cabin.
Oh.
Well, it's been torn down now, but
they
go to to the area. Yeah.
Ooh, I want to watch that one.
Mhm.
I don't remember that one. But I didn't watch a lot of the true crime
Yeah.
ones because they have true crime and paranormal.
Mhm. And I watched the true crime.
On brand for
Yeah.
you.
So yeah, that is the unsolved murder of
That was a good
Cabin
one.
28. Yeah.
I liked that. I mean, I don't like that they died, but mysterious.
It's just so creepy. What creeps me out about that one is like either they cleaned up the crime scene so they didn't find
Yeah.
footsteps, but like that there were no footsteps
Someone
leaving.
clearly experienced like did that. Like how could you hide footsteps and handprints and
Exactly.
in the 80s?
Like how brutal that was.
Yeah. Like that's crazy.
And how did the boys sleep through it?
That's I still don't understand that.
But they do. And then also, why didn't they kill the boys?
I don't know. It's so weird.
I have so many questions, Taylor. Why don't you have the answers?
I don't know. Unless, like, what if they killed them somewhere else and then brought them in and made it look like a crime scene?
I feel like because of all of the blood
It had to have been.
it had to have been there.
That's true because it was like on the ceiling.
Yeah. Sick.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Did you like it?
I did really like that story.
Aw.
Thank you for specifically. I can't talk today either. But you know what? It's a weeknight and it's nighttime. This is not usual.
Our
for
night
us.
recordings are always going to be like.
Yeah. They're always going to be a little messy.
It's okay.
But when are we not?
It's endearing.
True. So anyway, those are the ends of our stories. And if anyone wants to send us any personal scary stories, Colleen, take it
IG.
away.
I feel like I'm in the spelling bee every time you do that. igsttystories@gmail.com. And you can also follow us on TikTok or Instagram at igsttypod on both Instagram and TikTok.
Yes. And don't forget to rate our podcast.
Subscribe to us so that you know when new episodes come out, but we post every Wednesday.
Because you'll want to look out for the bonus one coming out at some point.
Yeah, who knows when that one's going to come out. So
that's
honestly,
why you have to subscribe.
Yeah.
That's how you'll know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Later.